So Dora, over to you. Unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, so should I start from the history of newspaper?
Yes, but you just pick important things. You don't need to read everything. You can just read the first paragraph, then I scroll down, you move to.
Yes, sir. Okay, history of newspaper.
W. VIP. Love music.
In Renaissance,
Hold on,
in
Dora.
Renaissance.
Hold on. Let me mute
Okay, sir.
everybody. Then I'll ask you to unmute yourself because
All right.
you started their noise already. Okay, Dora, you can try it now. Unmute yourself and speak.
Okay. In Renaissance, Europe handwriting newsletters circulated privately among merchants, passing along information about everything from war and economic conditions to social customs and human interest features. The first printed forerunners of the newspaper appeared in the Germany in the late 14,000 in the form of news pamphlets or broadsides.
In the form of
Often
news, pamphlet, or
news
broadside.
pamphlets
So
or
that is okay.
broadsides.
That is okay.
Okay.
All right,
In
this
the
paragraph.
in the English-speaking world, the earliest predecessors of the newspapers were carantos, small news pamphlets produced only when some events worthy of notice occurred. The first successively published title was the Weekly News of 1622.
Read
It
that
was
place
followed
again.
in
Let them hear you.
okay. The first successively published title was the Weekly News of 1622.
Mm.
It was followed in the 1640s and 1650s by a plethora of different titles in the similar news book format. The first true newspaper in English was the London Gazette of
Gazette
1660. Okay, Gazette of 1666.
is okay. So
For
this,
a generation, it was
don't
the
worry. Here now. You start
press
from there.
developed under the authoritarian in England. The press developed under the authoritarian atmosphere of the early 17th century. Corantos one-page news sheets were printed in England in Holland in 1620.
It's okay. Let's go to Italy.
In Italy, as early as 59 BC, there was a publication of daily events bulletins called Acta Actions of the Day. They were posted in a public place for all to read.
So when they ask you tomorrow, that was the meaning of acta the owner. You should know what that means. So
Action of the
you know
day.
all these things you are reading. It may be this useless things like this they'll be asking. Then we have another one here. Sing Pao. Is it Ching Pao? Because China, the way they say their own this thing. So the earliest forerunner of the modern newspaper can be credited to the Chinese. The earliest forerunner of the modern newspaper can be credited to who? The Chinese. When they published Qing Pao at about 500. All right, so Dora, continue.
Okay. As the technological advances of printing made their way across Europe, newspapers cropped up frequently. The first newspaper published in Germany was found in 1609 by Egenolf Emmen. As at 1633, there were at least 16 newspapers in Germany.
So tomorrow, when they ask you that there were dash newspapers in Germany in 1633, you should know we have 16 of them. Yes, Dora, continue.
In 1704, Postmaster Jerome Campbell joined with Bartholomew Green to publish a newspaper called the Boston Newsletter. By 1721, the newsletter received competition from the New England Courant.
Okay, hold on. Continue.
Courant, published by James Franklin, the older brother of Benjamin Franklin.
All right, let's
The,
start from here now.
okay. By 1729, in Philadelphia, Benjamin Franklin took over a family newspaper started by Samuel Kelmer and renamed it as the Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania, don't worry. Gazette.
okay, Gazette and Virginia Gazette.
All right, so hold on. So tomorrow, if you are likely tested that the newspaper started by Samuel Kramer, which was okay, no. The newspaper started by Samuel Kramer was later renamed to Dash by Benjamin Franklin to Pennsylvania Gazette or Virginia Gazette. The two are joined together. Okay, so Dora, start from here now.
In 1734, John Peter Zenger began publishing the New York Weekly to counter Bradford's newspaper. The New York Gazette, who mostly expressed the government line.
That is okay. But there is something importantly you must read here.
Okay.
So let's end this.
He
Yeah.
fortunately won the case, thus establishing Fruit as a defense against libel. His lawyer was Andrew Hamilton.
Whose lawyer? Let me ask you guys.
Zenger.
Okay.
John Peter.
Okay. Okay, let's read this and round that place up.
Okay. After the American independence, the government of US had to determine for itself just how free a press it was willing to tolerate. In 1790, the Congress adopted the first 10 amendments to the Constitution called the Bills of Rights. The First Amendment reads, "Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press."
Thank you. So let's see beginnings of newspaper in America. Let me see who will take that for us. I want everybody to talk. So anywhere you read anything that comes out from me tomorrow, you should be able to say something. Madam Naomi, you take beginnings of newspaper. I can see you here now. So let's ask Madam Naomi to unmute if she's available. There was this first person that joined the meeting. What was that name again? Let me see if I can. Victoria Nelson. It's like Madam Naomi is not there. Victoria Nelson, be help us with this part. I've asked you to unmute. Just unmute yourself and speak. Yes. Out of Talabi Esther. Who is taking it? Talabi Esther is on mute, but sorry, unmuted, but we are not hearing you. You are not saying anything. I've called more than 3 people now, so you people are just in the class. Any one of you available should unmute and take the next part we are talking about.
Yes, sir.
Good day. So beginnings of newspaper in America. Yes.
Okay. In America, the first attempt at a newspaper was one started by the English printer Benjamin Harris. He published in 1960 an edition of a newsletter titled Public Occurrences, both foreign and domestic. However, publishing due to the problem he encountered with the Massachusetts, if I'm right, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
With the Massachusetts by being critical of the Indians. The first newspaper appeared in Boston in 1690, entitled Public Occurrences.
It's okay, ma'am. So let's
Published without
move to this.
authority, it was...
Let's move with this now. Sorry.
Okay, sir. The first successful newspaper was the Boston Newsletter, begun by Postmaster John Campbell in 1704.
Okay, that is okay.
Although it was heavily subsidized by the...
Hold on. Don't worry. I'll just be picking what we need to do. I'll pick what we need to do. All right, so let's start here.
All right.
So you are free to continue, ma'am.
All right. At the end of the war in 1783, there were 43 newspapers in print. The press played a vital role in the affairs of it, representing all shades of political opinion.
All right, that is okay. Okay.
Should I continue, sir?
So this is the next
Okay,
place
sir.
to read. That is the next place.
All right. The ratification of the Bill of Rights in 1791 at last guaranteed freedom of the press, and America's newspapers began to take on a central role in national affairs. Growth continued in every state.
Okay. So we will
Yes,
take
sir.
this, very important, and stop here.
Okay. All right. By 1814, there were 346 newspapers. In the Jacksonian populist 1830s, advances in printing and paper-making technology led to an explosion of newspaper growth. The emergence of the penny press, it was now possible to produce a newspaper that could be sold for just a cent a copy.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Naomi. So let's look for who will take newspaper and industrial revolution. We're not going to talk much on that. Just pick little by little. So anybody, okay, the thing is, if I unmute all of you, noise will start. Okay, I don't know whether that is Mr. or Madam Agbola Oludayo. If you are here, Benedicta, okay. Benedicta, I've asked you to unmute. Unmute yourself and let's see if you can help us with that. Either Benedicta or Benita, any one of you. Boluwatife Ruth, if you're available too, unmute yourself. Damilola Akinyemi, if you are available, unmute yourself. You guys should stop running away from rest. What you teach, you will likely not forget. That is the scope.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, the Industrial Revolution, as it transformed all aspects of American life and society, dramatically affected newspapers. Both the numbers of papers and their paid circulations continued to rise. The 1850 census cataloged 2,526 titles. In the 1850s, powerful giant press appeared, able to print 10,000 complete papers per hour. At this time, the first pictorial weekly newspaper emerged. They featured for the first time extensive illustrations of events in the news. as woodcut engravings made from correspondence sketches or taken from that new invention, the photograph. During the Civil War,
Okay, hold
the
on, hold
armed
on, hold on, hold on, ma. So there
okay,
is
sir.
something important in this place. Giant presses appeared and were able to print 10,000 complete papers per hour. That is something worth noting. That's is that press or a machine that was able to print 10,000 complete papers per hour. It's called giant press.
Process
Okay,
appeared.
let's just hope that. All right, let's move on, please. Continue.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. During the Civil War, the unprecedented demand for timely, accurate news reporting transformed American journalism into a dynamic, hard-hitting force in national life. Reporters called special became the darlings of the public and the idols of youngsters everywhere. Many accounts of battles turned in by these intrepid adventures stand today as the definitive histories of their subjects. Newspaper growth continued unabated in the post-war years. An astounding 11,314 different papers were recorded in the 1880 census. By the 1890s, the first circulation figures of 1 million copies per issue were recorded. Were recorded. Ironically, these newspapers are now quite rare due to the atrocious quality of cheap paper then in use, and to great losses in World War II era paper drives. At this period appear the features of the modern newspaper: bold banner headlines, extensive use of illustrations, funny pages, plus expanded coverage of organized sporting events. The rise of yellow journalism also marks this era. Ast could trustfully boast that his newspaper manufactured the public clamor for war on Spain in 1898. This is also the age of media consolidation, as many independent newspapers were swallowed up into powerful chains, with regrettable consequence for a once fearless and incorruptible press. Many were reduced to vehicles for the distributions of the particular views of their owners, and so remained without competing papers to challenge their viewpoints. By the 1910s, all the essential features of the recognizably modern newspaper had emerged. In our time, radio and television have gradually supplanted newspaper as the nation's primary information source. So it may be difficult initially to appreciate the role that newspaper have played in our history.
All right, it's okay. Thank you. Let me quickly rush through the function before the next speaker will take what we have next. So what is the function of newspaper? All you have been reading is just the history of newspaper. So it's just stories from how newspaper emerged. So let's look at the functions. What functions does the newspaper serve? One, newspaper help in doing genealogical searches for family and issues. That is the first function. The second one is that newspaper alert people on upcoming events in sports, community activities, concerts, parades, etc., and politics. Gives one an edge when considering the total candidate for whom to vote. Newspaper provide platform for speaking out on issues of public importance. You know, just imagine anything, the regular newspaper you buy on daily basis. helps you to discover. Then you know the functions of newspaper. It provides relaxation through cartoons, puzzles, jokes, etc. And newspaper help in locating job opportunities, searches on what to buy, and so on. Some of you don't even know that you can get vacancies on newspaper. You should know that today. So Sambi in 2005 highlights the following as functions of newspaper, where the ones we just mentioned are the general functions. But this man came up with his own, Sambi in 2005. He said newspaper inform readers objectively about what is happening in their community, country, and the world. The newspaper comments on the news in order to bring development into focus. Newspaper provides the means whereby persons who want to sell goods and services can advertise their wares. Newspaper campaigns for desirable civic projects and to help eliminate undesirable conditions. Newspaper gives readers a portion of entertainment, and newspaper serves reader as a friendly counselor, information bureau, and champion of their rights. Well, just normal thing you know about newspaper. If you have been reading one before, you understand all these things are not something to cram. When you see it tomorrow, you should know which one is not a function of newspaper, because the way questions will come out on this kind of thing, if it comes out, is that you pick out the one that is not, they will list 3 functions, add one that is not a function. And this kind of question used to be obvious, like even without having the knowledge, with common sense, you will know that this thing cannot be the function of newspaper. So who's speaking next? You can just raise your hands if you're available. So because I'm tired of calling names that they would. Okay, Tife Oluwa is available. Please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I've asked you to unmute. So you take the penny press. You take the penny press. Tife Oluwa, you are free to speak.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, man. So just go straight. We don't have time on Zoom.
The penny press in the 1830s, there was the introduction of a new style of journalism and a new style of a newspaper. Small newspaper with a lighter style, stressing not political issues, but the crime, sex, and gossip of the day, sold for 1 cent. The new publication unshared in the era of the penny press. It was a departure from the existing newspaper style, writing in dense prose and dealing with what often were complex political issues. Though on average, America found little interest in this statesman's newspaper. The
Okay.
earliest
Continue, ma.
The earliest penny press was the New York. The earliest penny press was the New York Sun, published in 1833 by Benjamin H. Days. His innovation was to sell his paper so inextensively that it would attract a larger readership, which could then be sold to advertisers. They succeeded because they anticipated a new kind of reader. Soon, there were many penny papers in all the major cities. Yellow journalism. The penny press not only proved the sensational news sold at an inexpensive price could be successful, it also laid the groundwork for an era of another kind of journalism, yellow journalism. Leading participants were Joseph Pulitzer, publishers of the New York World, and Williams Randolph Hearst, who became the editors of the San Francisco Examiner
Those are
in
hold on, man.
1817.
Hold on, man. Sorry for cutting you. Those are details
Okay,
you
sir.
have to hold. You see, it's not all the story that we need. I just need to know that yellow journalism was published or were published by Joseph Pulitzer. Okay, sorry, the leading participant, not really published, but the publisher of the New York World and William Randolph Hearst. So He also became the San Francisco Examiner in 18. That is even another, that's just addition. You just need to know the name William Randolph Hearst as the major contributor in yellow journalism. And then what else did they say about the yellow journalism? So that is how I want you guys to be reading. Okay. Important dates, 1887. You are preparing for exam now. You can't be reading everything. We have a lot to read. So let's it expanded the coast of New York. I'm still trying to look for another person. So Richard F. Outcall marked the beginning of an outstanding battle in journalism. What's that battle? The extremely popular Kid. Okay, madam, please continue from this place. I'll read it to the end.
Okay, sir. The extremely popular Kid appeared in a yellow dress and
Became known as
the yellow link of the Pulitzer newspaper also had it within him, appearing in the promotional literature of both newspapers. The circulation war was in full force, and a new title had been given to the era of sensational, and in many ways it remained as a way of selling newspaper well into the 190s and can still be seen today.
Thank you. So now we have the idea. We know when we started with the history of newspaper. Then we've talked about two newspapers now. The first one is what? Before the yellow journalism. The first one you talked about was what? The penny press. Then we have the yellow journalism. So we'll go to magazines now. Oyebanji, you have been your hands. It's time to allow you now. I was seeing one Oyebanji raising hands before. Where is the Oyebanji? Hillary is the one up now, but there was one Oyebanji before. And I can't locate Oyebanji again by you. Okay, Hillary, just take it. Let's allow you to unmute. Hillary, you will take magazines. No, sorry, that was an error. So, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah. Okay, the growth of magazines. The first magazines was believed to have been stated in 1704 by Daniel Defoe. It was a weekly periodical called The Review. Defoe's review was distinguished from the newspapers of the era because it published features, materials in addition to news. Two publications, The Tatler and Spectator, emerged out of the journalist style of Defoe. Tatler was published in 1709 by Richard Steele, while The Spectator came up in March 1711 by both Steele and Joseph Addison. The Spectator grew in London and was the first magazine to make a contribution to literature. In the United States of America, Andrew Bradford began publishing American Magazine in 1741, followed by Benjamin's General Magazine between 1741 and 1794. 45 new magazines appear, entrepreneurial printers with the intention to attack educated, cultural, moneyed gentlemen moneyed gentlemen copied the successful London magazine. Subsequently, other magazines emerged. Some are the Saturday Evening Post, 1821, Harper's, 1850, and Atlantic that fueled the growth of magazines include cheaper printing and growing literacy, as well as the spread of social movements such as abolitionism abolitionism, and labor reform.
So you guys should put this statement in mind, very important. There was a question like that in the previous semester. So factors that fuel the growth of magazines include the following. So cheaper printing and growing literacy. Do not forget. All right, so guys, let's move on. Madam, please continue your reading. So,
Okay.
but
Okay,
hold
sir.
on,
I'm not
hold on,
seeing. Okay,
hold
I'm not
on.
seeing the first from the.
No, hold on. You are not reading everything. I want to move to where you read. So let's start from here now.
Okay.
The highlighted part.
Okay. Okay. Following the end of World War II, deep alterations in American culture and, in particular, the advent of television changed the relationship between magazines and their audiences. Magazine could not match the reach of television despite its large circulation. Many of the mass circulated magazines closed up. Magazine therefore sought solace in specialization and a lifestyle orientation. Should I continue, sir?
Yes, you read about convergence in magazine because this meeting will soon end. So you just end it with that idea. Then next,
Okay.
we'll go to another topic. All right.
Okay, convergence in magazine publishing. Online magazines or webzine have emerged made possible by convergence of magazine and the internet. For example, Time and Mother Jones now have online edition. There are also others who are strictly online.
All right. Hold on there,
Online,
ma. Hold on a bit. Sorry for cutting you. So,
okay,
I'm asked tomorrow that webzine are also called dash online magazine. You see, it's not all these
online edition.
story you are reading. It's some things like that that your mind will not go. That is what they will pick. So online magazine are also called webzine. Okay,
Webzine.
so that is enough in that place. Then the
Okay.
influence of advertisers on magazine. Let's quickly read that first paragraph.
Okay. Should I go on, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The sustenance and profitability of magazine business made possible by advertisement has brought much influence on magazine contents. Since the major aim of every business is to make profits, no magazine would like to lose its advisor. Therefore, magazine editors are very cautious in new presentations so as not to offend their advertisers. The questions emerging is that how can a magazine function offering depth, variety, and detailed content when its editorial content is influenced by advisors?
All right. So I think they will
That's
answer
a question.
that question. They will answer that question themselves. So
Okay.
that is the end of that unit. So we need to wait for 10 more minutes. After, okay, we still have 5 minutes. Let's see what 5 minutes can do
Okay.
here. So
Okay,
the
sir.
next thing we are going is now book publishing, where we talk about origin and
Okay.
concept of book publishing, understanding book publishing and its terminologies,
Publishing.
steps in book publishing. So, but that will be in the next meeting. So let's end this one and wait for that. There are 10 minutes. Sorry about this. YouTube is just not encouraging tonight. So I'm even tired of using that YouTube. So guys, see you in the next meeting. The same group, you see the link there. Thank you for joining.